strong digestive fire. You have a good pitta element in that digestive area. And then if you move your hands down into your abdomen, your lower abdomen, and the area where your gut is, that's the area where vata resides, the air, and that helps to circulate the food that's been digested in the stomach, the pitta area, and then that reaches the tissues and for absorption. So that vata quality also moves and pushes feces and urine out of the body. Yeah, and when we have the doshas in their respective areas in the digestive tract, we're said to be set up for good digestion. But they can get blocked and there can be an accumulation, and then they start moving into different areas, and that's where you'll see different diseases start to occur. And when they're out of the digestive system, they can even leave and go on to the joints, the skin, and you see kind of breakouts happen and stuff like that. Absolutely, absolutely. And keeping these doshas in their respective seats. And so there's a third principle that is also really important here, and that is really eating mindfully, choosing the foods that you eat that are going to be most nourishing and also assimilated by the body. So Ayurveda says that one man's medicine is another man's poison. And that basically means that you don't eat the same things that your neighbor does and expect to have the same great results that they're maybe having. Instead, find out what food is best for you. And through that process of elimination, becoming aware of the foods and how they make you feel afterwards, and how easily do they move through your body, noticing, does your skin break out with acne after eating certain foods? It sounds like common sense, right? But still, it's surprising how long people go on eating the same foods and getting the same results of bloating and indigestion, and they don't actually do something about it. So with your diet, you really need to understand your constitution and make sure that you're eating the foods that are going to be the medicine for you and that are going to balance you out. Whole, natural foods that support healthier digestion and gut health. Plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and healthy fats in your diet. And try to minimize the processed foods, refined sugars, and excess amounts of dairy and meat. Eat slow and mindfully, chewing your food well. That really helps to aid in digestion. Another thing that we like to do in Ayurveda is eat a piece of sliced ginger. I guess it's very similar to Asian food where you eat the pickled ginger before you eat your meal. But in Ayurveda, we have the ginger and then we put a pinch of salt, pink Himalayan if possible, a squeeze of lemon juice on that. And you take that about 15 minutes before you eat your food. When you have a really sluggish digestion, this helps to stimulate the digestive fire. and it works really well for people that have like low metabolism, that more earthy kind of type of digestive fire. And then some of the other herbal remedies that you can have that are dosha specific would be ginger for vata. Make sure that you include that in your meals. And then black pepper is great for kapha, that more earthy digestion. And then fennel is good for pitta. And that will soothe any stomach upsets that you may have. You can chew on those fennel seeds if that helps, or just make a tea with a teaspoon of each of those different spices for your digestive fires.
It sounds amazing. Like, they can really just switch your situation and get you a result.
Well, yeah, it is. Being proactive around our health is one of the most empowering things that we can do for ourselves. Instead of just waiting for someone to hand us a pill, actually really being active about finding out what your body needs is so important.
Yeah, definitely. Now, there's a lot of people in the nutritional and health world, they talk about this mind-gut connection. How does Ayurveda view that connection, and how can that be addressed through diet and lifestyle choices?
Yeah, well, it's quite fascinating, isn't it? This concept that your emotions and your mental well-being are closely related to your health and your digestive system. But as it turns out, and we've mentioned quite a few habits here, that we need to be mindful of these things already. So when we're rushed and we are distracted while eating, this can be really difficult for our bodies to properly digest the food that we take. Instead, we need to take time and sit down, enjoy our meals, and really focus on the taste, the smells, and the textures from the food. I've been getting my kids to do that around the table, and it's something when they're little, they enjoy really being attentive about what they're eating. And this also in turn helps to activate your digestive system and prevent any discomfort later on. And stress is a big one, right? It has this negative impact on our digestive system. And so finding ways to reduce stress before you're eating, either meditation, yoga, spending time in nature, taking a few deep breaths before we eat our meals, slowing down just a little bit. Even the fact that if we get our hands in dirt, soil actually contributes to the human gut microbiome. There's a connection there. And so gardening is really good. Practicing self-care, taking care of your mental and emotional well-being is really finding things that bring you joy and relaxation. Could be reading, taking a bath, or spending time with friends with healthy habits, something that we focus on in our online community. Daily routine, that's really like dialed in, where you feel supported in your mind. It has that knock-on effect of making your gut really dialed in for better digestion.
This is fantastic. You gave us some amazing tips there in the last few minutes that you've been talking. And you think it's realistic for people to really be able to incorporate these Ayurvedic principles into their daily life to support their healthy digestion? I mean, how would you start? Would you do something in the morning, something at lunch, something at dinner? How can they make it real for them?
Yeah, so that's what we focus on in our community, the Sacred Vitality Club, is just taking an incremental step, something that you work on for a month and build upon. And then by the end of a year, you have these new habits that are dialed in. You see, we're habitual creatures, and we are also social learners. And so it's really important to be around others that are doing the things that we want to be doing, because it all impacts on our happiness and our well-being. And I think that it completely is doable, but it takes time. You can't say it's going to change it overnight. It's more of a dance where you implement some things and then you come back to it in a couple of months. And that's how we grow. That's how we learn.
Fantastic. Now, just tell us a bit about your club that you mentioned there.
Yeah. So the Sacred Vitality Club is a 12-month program, which we focus on people making changes. It's easy, like I say, to understand Ayurveda, but the next step is really implementing it into your life. And that happens in small steps, Kaizen steps, where you start working on a habit each month. And we meet up with each other. We have a retreat every year in Mallorca, which is a week long, and we get in the kitchen and we cook food as a community. So you get to really taste these flavors, and then you want to go home and you want to cook these recipes for yourself. And we just had one last week in May, and we have another one coming up in November the 6th in Mallorca.
Can the people book this online?
Absolutely. You just go to www.ayurvedaanytime.com and you can see that right on the top of the page there.
Fantastic. So people are interested in that kind of retreat to really get themselves started on this, and definitely go to ayurvedaanytime.com. And we're going to be talking a lot more about Ayurveda and how important your digestion is for your overall health after a few messages from our commercial partners.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
Animal Aid campaigns peacefully against all forms of animal abuse and promotes cruelty-free living. We've been doing this for over 40 years. Every year, more and more people are living satisfying lives completely cruelty-free. Check out animalaid.org.uk. It's time for a kinder world.
A cancer diagnosis can be scary and stressful for everyone involved. Hello Love is a contemporary living space and well-being center in central London where anyone can come and learn about illness prevention and non-toxic practice. Inside, you will find a vegan restaurant, juice bar, and holistic dojo that encourage lifestyle changes to help heal mind, body, and spirit connection. Cancer patients are offered free sessions. To find out more, please visit us at hellolove.org.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
You're listening to Dora Walsh on UK Health Radio, your global feel-good radio, talking about Ayurveda and how digestion is at the root of all your health concerns. We're talking with Amrita Mahadevi. She is an Ayurvedic coach and practitioner, and her website is ayurvedaanytime.com. You can find out about her services and her retreats on there, as well as her online groups. So we've talked so much about this, and it's so interesting for myself, and I'm sure for our audience. We talked about how you can incorporate those Ayurvedic principles into your daily routine. It's step by step. You mentioned Kaizen steps, gradual steps. And I think that's really important for people to realize, because we don't want to be overwhelmed by doing things, but over time we can make those changes. Now, moving on, I wanted to ask you about whether you also use herbs or supplements in your practice, or whether you just focus on your foods. And if you do use herbs and supplements, are there any that can benefit digestion, and how should they be used?
Yeah, so there are some very nice tonic herbs that are used in Ayurveda. And we say that the herbs that we use, they don't have side effects, but they do have side benefits. So anyone can pretty much take them. You just need to monitor the amount. So Triphala is the free fruits. It's a well-known Ayurvedic remedy for supporting the digestive health and helping with the elimination and also the toning of the intestinals. And it's rich in antioxidants, which can help protect against cellular damage. And that is the really widely used herb in Ayurveda for your digestive system. And then there are the Trikatu, which is a very pungent herb, not for everyone. It can be help to really reduce the mucus that's in the gut, good for people with respiratory and congestion in their body. And so that's really good support for the fire, the digestive fire. If you're someone that suffered from long COVID, if you have really sluggish digestion, you have that more kind of earthy, more slow digestive fire, then Trikatu is advised for you. And then Shatavari is a sweet herb, and it provides nourishment and hydration for the body. Very important for those Vata type airy ones that we've talked about. It also has the anti-inflammatory properties, which means it's good for those Pitta types, because it helps to relieve any burning sensations in the body. And what's more, it has antimicrobial effects, which can benefit and treat candida and dysbiosis in the gut. So there's some really helpful ones. Aloe vera, I think it's known universally, but in Ayurveda, it's a miracle plant. It's a succulent and it has soothing properties that can be really useful for people that have inflammatory bowel and conditions like Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis.
A lot you can do. You've got a whole arsenal of different spices and products that can be used to support people in their digestive system and therefore in their wider health.
Yes, fortunately, Ayurveda offers a real wealth of herbs and supplements.
In your experience as an expert health coach, how have you seen Ayurveda make a positive impact on people's digestive health?
So at Ayurveda Anytime, we've seen some really profound effects of Ayurveda on people's lives. And through Ayurvedic cooking and bi-yearly cleansing that we run, we've helped people to balance their doshas and bring back more balance into their mind and their body. So for some people, this can be a real big shift because they start to feel safe in their own skin again, and they become more confident and happy in their own bodies. And this is something that we always strive for at Ayurveda Anytime. And one of the benefits of Ayurvedic cooking is that it promotes a healthy eating. People start to focus on eating more whole, nourishing foods that make them feel better. And this means that they start to avoid processed foods and they eat plenty of nourishing foods in their diet. And they start to choose foods that are easier for them to digest. We encourage our clients to eat mindfully and start paying attention to their hunger cues and their fullness cues. And with this, they start to get creative in their kitchen using spices, and they feel better. The benefits of flavor and joy that they get from eating their own food. It's funny, but one of our clients, she transformed her digestive problems within like 3-4 weeks of taking the Nourish Your Nature course. And she said that she had her very first foodgasm from eating the recipes in the Nourish Your Nature course. First time that she'd eaten her own food and felt really satisfied. And this is really big. This means that people spending less on going out to eat, there is less waste in their kitchen and more joy in their life and more health, right? So at Ayurveda Anytime, we believe that Ayurveda is not just a system of medicine, but it's a way of life. And we really strive to educate and empower people to take their health into their hands and make positive change that lasts a lifetime.
It's really great how you're actually teaching people to incorporate this in their life. It's not some crazy diet that you do for 2 weeks or 1 week detox. It's like something that you can do going in order to support your digestion, support your health. It's not a fad. Tell us, I know we talked a bit about the different offers that you provide at Ayurveda Anytime. One of them is a retreat and the other one is a Sacred Vitality Club. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Could you just explain to our listeners that may be interested how they're different? Is one online and one is face to face? Is that right?
Well, there's more offerings. So I have like a shorter 6-week where we share about Ayurvedic cooking in our Nourish Your Nature course. That really teaches you how to meal plan, how to cook, and start to use Ayurveda in your day-to-day through diet and lifestyle. And then we have a 12-month program, which will help you to make those changes more permanent in your life and help you to have a support of a community that are all working together and working on different things each month and having guest teachers come in to speak and kind of really finesse certain things. And then we have the retreat, which is actually part of the membership, part of the 12 months membership, where we all get together and you'll be learning yoga, meditation, and Ayurvedic cooking.
It sounds like you do a whole load of different things at Ayurveda at all different levels.
Yes, exactly. We really hope to make this mainstream because it's changed my life and it's changed so many people's life. And it's just really the small things that you just need to remember over a long term. And once you get those principles into your daily routine, you're set up for longevity and happiness and peace of mind, which I think is very important.
Very important these days in these tricky times to stay healthy, where there's so much more focus on health since the pandemic and your family, and really learning how to cook and eat your own food at home. This way to be. And if we can make our food our medicine, then we have the chance to medicate ourselves at least 3 times a day if we're eating 3 times a day. That's how we have to think. It's a medicine that we're eating every day, and we've got to make the most of our medicine, don't we?
Yes, we absolutely do. And we absolutely can. So
great. Now, I hope listeners that you've enjoyed listening to the show as much as I've enjoyed presenting the show. And Rita, it's great to have you here this week. Definitely keep in touch for the future. For anyone that's interested in the work of Rita Mahadevi, and she's a very experienced Ayurvedic health coach, and she has a lot of different offers. You can find out about her system on www.ayurvedaanytime.com. And until next week, thank you and goodbye.